It feels like we're on martial law or something like that.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. Well, folks, I am here for the third time at the Willowdale Welcome Centre, which has been extremely welcoming for the Wuhan virus. Now, you may recall when I first came here earlier this month, the number of cases of the refugee clients here was 11 plus 12 staff were infected. Then, just mere days later, the number of refugees infected with COVID-19 had increased to 74. They were no longer issuing how many staff were infected. What is interesting, speaking of Mr. Fillion, the councillor for the area, when the number was 74 positive COVID-19 cases, he was demanding in his newsletter a lockdown for this facility, and yet when the cases more than doubled, Mr. Fillion said that there was no longer a need for a lockdown. That's odd, because if the cases are increasing exponentially, isn't that more of a reason for a lockdown? So I kind of wonder who got to Mr. Fillion. We put out queries to him. He doesn't respond to us. In the meantime, somebody at the City of Toronto did respond to Dr. Vanita Dubé. She is the Associate Medical Officer of Health. So my first question to Toronto Public Health was this. I understand that the number of cases of COVID-19 at the Willowdale Welcome Centre has ballooned to at least 200. Can you please tell me why this centre is not in lockdown mode? And the answer from Dr. Dubé is, as of April 27, 2020, there are 149 cases of COVID-19 at the Willowdale Welcome Centre. Toronto Public Health continues to actively work with our city partners and shelter service settings to minimize the risk of COVID-19 outbreaks and prevent disease spread. My second question to Toronto Public Health was this. I spent some time observing the centre on Wednesday, and residents are coming and going as they please. Is this not a potential health risk to the citizens of Toronto? And the answer again from Dr. Dubé was this. If a shelter resident is a confirmed case of COVID-19 or is a close contact of a confirmed case, they are in isolation for 14 days from the onset of symptoms. Some may be required to attend important medical appointments and are required to wear a surgical mask during travel while at the appointment. On my first visit here, I met this individual from Nigeria who said,
I'm barely 2 weeks here, so...
Okay, where are you from, sir?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay, then. All right. And where did you get tested? Because there's millions of Canadians trying to get tested. And
Well, I didn't get a test, but I did other tests, and if I had the coronavirus, they would have told me or something.
How would we know if they didn't test you? Check it out. He's already walking around. He's not in quarantine. He's not wearing the proper personal protective equipment. I don't know. That seems a little loosey-goosey to me. I can tell you that I've been here for several minutes, and I've already noticed breaches in protocol. I witnessed a car pull up with most of the people in it not wearing personal protective equipment, and they were delivering food to the shelter. And what's more, the employee for the shelter came to receive the delivery, and she wasn't wearing personal protective equipment either. So I don't know, it kind of seems like business as usual. Now, I have reached out to Mayor John Tory, who loves going on Twitter to brag about how many tax-paying Canadian citizens are getting fined $880 for such egregious activities as, walking through a park. Those queries have not garnered an interview with Mayor Tory, and as I said, the local councillor, John Fillion, he didn't return our emailed request for an interview either. However, it should be noted a few days ago, I just happened to bump into Kristen Wong-tam. She's a downtown Toronto city councillor, and here's how our interview regarding the Willowdale Welcome Centre went. On my visits there, there's been a lack of use of PPE equipment, social distancing, congregations of more than 5, and the building itself is problematic, and I'm wondering why the police and bylaw aren't issuing those $880 tickets to these refugees that stay there.
I would say that is a great question, and probably best to sort that out specifically with bylaw enforcement. It is a facility that is run by city staff, and there are very strict protocols. I have not heard that those protocols are not being followed per se, and there are a number of measures that are already in place. And of course, we want everyone to be healthy, the workers, we want the clients to be healthy, and the local community. So I think that's something that should be definitely looked into.
So I'm with Karen Taylor. She lives just up the street from the Willowdale Welcome Centre. And I guess, Karen, what are your thoughts regarding the Willowdale Welcome Centre now that the city has confirmed 149 COVID-19 positive cases? And with you living nearby, how do you assess the situation?
Yeah, I'm concerned because I don't think that the building was definitely not meant for residents. It was an office building. I actually, when first lived in Toronto, I lived in the apartment building just south of there. And I remember when it was, Ontario Hydro or whatever. So that, yeah, when you see inside, the beds are all too close together. It's not really safe for proper housing. So then I kind of wonder, why are we bringing in more immigrants if we don't have the proper housing to have them in? And then the worst thing is that once they realized there was a problem, why weren't they handing out masks? Why weren't they doing social distancing, locking them down? Because certainly Canadian citizens, if we travel, we had to stay home for 2 weeks. So I'm wondering, so they're letting people walk in the neighborhood or whatever in a highly densely populated neighborhood, Yonge and Finch kind of area, and they could be passing along the virus to whoever just happens to be out. It just seems also to me hypocritical that the government, is really strict on us as Canadian citizens, and then when they have sort of control over where a lot of people are living, they're not taking even as many measures, it seems, as they're asking us to take. It does really bother me when people are just going about their business and can be no danger of infection. They're far away from other people and they're getting tickets for sitting on benches or going through parks or walking the dog or whatever, and that's really disturbing. It feels like we're on martial law or something like that.
Karen Taylor might be upset, but what does she know, folks? She's just a taxpayer who's fronting the bills for the Willowdale Welcome Centre. Now, I would go and pay another house call on the Willowdale Welcome Centre, but as we found out last time I tried to do that, well, they called the cops. Are you one of the refugees or workers here?
Thank you. Please not film me. You need to leave property. Toronto police are on their way. Thank you.
Oh, why? Oh, is it to hand out tickets for the numerous violations here? So in the final analysis, it would seem to be, from my brief observation here, that it is indeed business as usual, and that the residents here, or the clients as they are called by the city, they're not going to be fined $880 like the citizens of Toronto who are actually responsible for funding and maintaining the Willowdale Welcome Centre, even though the number of violations here is off the charts and the number of people that are infected, whether it's 149 or 200 for one building, that is huge. But for some reason, the city of Toronto, I guess, I don't know, they don't want to be culturally insensitive. They're turning a blind eye. Absolutely incredible. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, have you been unfairly ticketed by bylaw or law enforcement regarding those COVID-19 safety precautions? Well, if so, please go to our new website, fightthefines.com. That's fightthefines.com. Tell us your story, and if we think it has merit, we will go to bat for you. Yes, we will hire a lawyer and fight it in court. And if you don't have a story to tell, folks, but you'd like to help us crowdfund our legal fees, again, please go to fightthefines.com, and if you can, kindly make a donation. Thank you.